Hey YouTube, welcome to my first video. I'm Jackie. I am outside on my balcony on my day off, and I figured before we kind of dive into this about me video, I say let's just do what we do in the morning. Let's make breakfast. Hi sunshine, good morning.
Morning. I can't put my hair up. I look like a mess.
Well, before we start the morning supplement routine, we always want to make sure we get the coffee done first. So we have our little coffee cupboard here. It's got pretty much everything we need. We use our French press, and then for Sigmatic coffee is pretty much our favorite right now. We have decaf in here, but I think we have it for a peace of mind knowing it's there. I don't think we've ever actually used it.
I use it quite a few times when I cycle off caffeine.
So we're just gonna get coffee ready to go, and yeah, it'll be done after we do everything.
It's gonna be the water.
For suppies.
I'm still sleepy.
Alright, so every morning before I have my coffee, I put together this supplement concoction. Especially right now, I'm 2 weeks out, so there's a lot of things that I'm taking. So while he's making noise in the back, I'll show you. First things first, I get my little blender bottle, and I mix together just 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, which on the back is 15 milliliters. So I have a scale here, and I just pour out 15 milliliters. And then I do, right now I'm using the OptiGreens 50 from First Form. I just like the way it tastes. All these are pretty much the same no matter where you get them. Just the price and the serving size usually just differs. So that's probably what you need to take a look at. Most of these do have probiotics in them. Right now I'm out of my regular probiotic supplement, so I'm just going to kind of rely on the greens. So what I do is, you got to take a look at the serving size here and make sure that you're doing the proper amounts. I have to do just 2 scoops in my blender bottle, and you don't have to like weigh this or anything. It's just 2 scoops. And then you do the 15 milliliters of apple cider vinegar, and you put some water in, and you just mix away. So let's tear it. Apple cider vinegar, I usually get the one that has the mother, which is the gooky stuff that you usually see at the bottom. Any other brand you probably don't want to get. And then I put my water in and shake her up, and you don't really taste the apple cider vinegar, especially with the OptiGreens from First Form. The flavor's pretty prominent. So, and then I take my supplements. I'm not going to go deep into what each supplement is for and what it means. I'll probably make another video for it, but I could show you that I take fish oil, vitamin C, L-arginine. I take vitamin D, especially since I'm just naturally pale. Magnesium, and evening primrose oil. I also take a digestive enzyme. I really like this one from Vitamin Shop. And then right now, I'm just cycling on just a fat burner. Just as a reminder, I am a competitor. So I gotta take a couple extra things to look stage ready. And this is just a multivitamin. I mean, you could get this from your food, but I'm dropping on calories at the moment, so I'm just trying to get the nutrients everywhere that I could get them. So I'm gonna take all these amazing supplements while this cutie is in the back pulling together our households, which maybe one day we'll do a little apartment tour.
Yes.
Be cute.
I'm all about that.
Alrighty, well, I'll take these and see everybody in a second. What's up, YouTube? How you guys doing? So excited about this. This is my first YouTube video, and I figured let's make it about me, so that you know who's talking to you. Maybe some of you know me well, and maybe some of you know me not at all. Maybe you just found me on Instagram, my website, which I'll link below as well, which is also something that I'm kind of starting off brand new as well. But yeah, let's just kind of dive right into it. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jackie, and I originally come from northern New Jersey, so I am a Bergen County girl. I feel like everybody that I tell that to down here in Nashville tends to already have an opinion about me. Being from New Jersey, because, you know, they've seen Jersey Shore or anything like that. I can promise you we're all pretty normal. We just have like an attitude problem maybe. But, so I've been in Nashville for a solid 3-ish years. Probably. So since I've moved, my life has done a 180 turnaround. I am in a completely different place than where I thought I was going to be. And I'm also just a completely different person than I thought I was going to be. So I hope that this YouTube channel is able to kind of get people to see that where you're at right now may not always necessarily be where you're gonna, you know, be or how you're gonna feel for the rest of your life. I'm certainly proud of myself in these last 3 years, and really, really happy with everybody that's currently in my life, and I'm happy with everybody that's currently out of my life as well, which is, I think, the hardest for a lot of people to deal with and maybe admit. So, but yeah, so to kind of not drift too far away, I tend to do that. So, to not drift so much, I think, you know, I can talk about how I got here, which is, you know, I saved up some cash. I literally jumped in my car and I drove 16 hours you know, with my car on a flatbed, and I think I had about $1,000 realistically to my name, and I moved into an apartment, well, I moved into a room in a house that I had never actually seen in person. I took a huge risk when I moved here, and you know, the room was really, really small. It was a decent price though, and I knew for the first time I had to get out of my comfort zone, move somewhere I wanted to move, and kind of put myself in this moment where I was scared, or else I wouldn't change anything that I didn't like about myself. So I wanted to be fearless, and I wanted to feel like an adult, you know? So I told myself, cool, you found this apartment, you know, get to know the people around you, go get a job first and foremost, because I had about $1,000 and my rent was almost half of that. So I had 30 days to make rent, and I said, I'm gonna do it. So I did it, and I ended up finding a job at Orangetheory Fitness here in Middle Tennessee, and then I think I found that job maybe about 4 days after I moved, and I've always felt pretty confident walking into a job interview. So, and I had known a lot about the company already. So, and it was somebody I wanted to work for, and fitness was of like a newer interest to me professionally. So I wanted to get involved in that community like right off the bat here. So I end up starting my job at Orangetheory Fitness. I was not a coach at the time. I actually was working at the front desk. And I had been there for maybe almost 2 years. I have to do the math because I can't remember. So I had a crazy experience that first year. I lived with people that I wasn't super happy with, and that was to be expected, because I think when you make that decision to move into a place that you don't know well, and you should be definitely prepared that you're taking risks. So I did that, and I knew it was going to be tough, and I knew inside it wasn't going to last forever. So I ended up just kind of dealing with it, going with emotions. I didn't really get too close with the people I was living with. It was the type where I went to work, I went to bed, I ate, that was it. I didn't really try to do too much with them. So yeah. So back to what I was like trying to talk about was I actually moved here for a totally different reason than what I do now. And I moved here to pursue a career in music like a lot of people do. I have been a hard-working DIY self-touring, self-made singer, songwriter, artist, musician for most of my adult life. And it's something that I don't want people to think that I don't want to do anymore or that I completely fell out of love with. I just felt that I made a decision to really get to know myself a little bit better, because as a musician growing up, I really think that everybody can relate to this. If you are not only just a musician but like in the arts altogether, you grow up thinking that you're really not good at anything else, and that's really harder to deal with than feeling defeated by the arts industry and not making as much money as maybe you want to make. But thinking that you really can't physically do anything else, or that maybe something else won't make you as happy, is, I think, more heartbreaking. And I kind of started to feel that in my mid to late 20s, that, oh my God, what if I'm really not good at anything else because I haven't put time into it like I've put time into music? What if I can't find anything that brings me the type of joy that music gives me? And I think that that affected a lot more than just how I felt about myself or how I would treat my daily life. I think it affected my relationships. I think it affected a lot of friendships. And I think it also sometimes would affect my relationship with my family, which has honestly never really been bad, but I think it could have taken a bad turn. So as I got older, I was on The Voice season 4. You can totally find me. I will I'll link that information there. I feel like at some point I was going to mention that anyway. But I was on The Voice, and that wasn't even the biggest part of my music career. I was actually in multiple bands, and the band that most people know me for was a band that was based out of the Bronx in New York called My Arcadia. And we were able to do so much on our own. It was so empowering. It made me feel like I could be my own boss, and I worked with people that were family to me, which I think is also great to kind of have under your belts in your early 20s, is being able to kind of almost figure out how to like run your own company, which, you know, DIY bands, if you're in one, that's pretty much how it goes. You are running your own label, your own management company, your own booking, your own merchandise company even. So, you know, we toured in multiple parts of the country. We were able to get on the Vans Warped Tour for more than 1 year, pretty much on our own. I mean, we had a lot of help from companies and brands and other artists that really respected us and loved us, and we worked super hard for that respect. Excuse me. So, so those albums are actually still available on iTunes and Spotify. Just look up My Arcadia. We've appeared on a couple of tribute records for other artists, and then there's some singles that you'll find, and I look like a totally different person, and that's not a bad thing, but I was never really a huge fan of how I looked when I was younger, and that's probably what stemmed my entrance into the fitness industry a little bit. So I'm sure I'll get into that at some point. I feel like that's a long story. So that's all I really wanted to touch base on music. I moved here, and my first year I was very determined to become an artist. I had no interest in writing songs for other people because I performed in that band for so long, and I was able to be very I don't know. I had a lot of self-efficacy when it came to like, you know, actually getting on stage, making records, writing songs, being proactive in the industry. So I didn't feel that I needed much help. And I think that when you step outside of the like DIY pop punk band bubble, that you do need a lot of help, and that you are really on your own, especially in a city like this where it's like fight, fight, fight for the attention. And I definitely wouldn't have even done as well as I did here in the first year if I wasn't from such a major city filled with other artists. Spending my whole life basically in New York, New Jersey, has taught me so much about just having a tough skin. I went to high school in Manhattan, and you know, just having that experience already in my blood and in my skin just did wonders for me being here. I think it's even the reason that I do what I do now, as a trainer and a coach for Orangetheory, and the reason I'm able to have anything that I want, I think has a lot to do with where I came from. So yeah. Anyway, so like back to me kind of being deep into living in Nashville. I actually moved here by myself, but I was dating someone from New Jersey, and I believe about 5 months later they moved here. And you know, that was a very negative struggle for me. I obviously am not still with that person, so they are actually back in New Jersey, I think, because, well, we don't talk, but, you know, it was a big adult move for me to just think about myself, I think for the first time in forever, and know that that wasn't working, that that was a negative situation, that I wasn't being my best self, and neither were they, and I don't think that we were right for each other. So for me to basically send that person home back to New Jersey and have them take that long drive back, and I don't know, it was heartbreaking, it was hard, but I don't think I've ever had a moment that could compare to that in how proud I am of myself for putting myself first, which I think was always a huge struggle for me. And I think that's probably why I am a trainer, because I don't really put myself first. I like to think of other people, and it totally gets the best of me, and I think that a lot of people can relate to that. But I'm trying to put that characteristic of myself to its best use, and try and help the community feel better, look better, and just be healthier and happier. And like, I get so much joy out of that feeling. So that's why I'm starting this online community. I want to share everything with you guys, from how I eat, how I kind of create these food hacks that allow me to still reach my goals, but also allow me to excite my taste buds without going overboard or treating my body poorly. I want to talk about what it's like to be a bodybuilder. Again, another thing that I never thought I was going to do. And then it kind of, the opportunity fell into my hands, and now it's my whole life and I love it. And I know it's not a forever situation, but I feel so happy and comfortable. And I think everything I do now, I think this is like the moral of the story, because I tend to just go off. What I do now is making me just as happy as music used to make me. And that is so cool. And I feel this like weight lifted off of my shoulders. I feel so good. I feel like I'm so in control of my life. My life is not perfect by any means. I definitely still have things that I've got to work on. Finances, I think, are always going to be a thing to work on, and probably for everybody. So with that being said, some of my dreams would be to own my own private training studio one day. I think that would be my biggest goal, to start that journey with my boyfriend, Mikey, who some of you guys know. You'll be seeing him a lot on this YouTube channel. But he's just everything to me. He's the love of my life. I met him through Orangetheory. We're actually both coaches at different studios, pretty close to each other. And I'll tell our story in like a whole different video. I'll make like a Mikey story for you guys. And if you don't know him, you will just fall in love with him too. He's a big old nerd and loves talking about health, fitness. He is going to school to be a registered dietitian, so I'm sure that we're gonna have him featured on here and answering maybe a lot of questions for you guys, which would be pretty cool. But I would love to do that with him. I think that one day that could definitely be a reality for us. And then I think I would love to open an Orangetheory, actually back in my home state in New Jersey. So I might hit up in the future, maybe, I don't know, a few years from now, because I just can't think of that being super realistic at this point. But I would love to do that. I mean, it's a big part of how I do what I do, is that Orangetheory gave me the opportunity and the financial freedom to just work on this as a job, as a career, as a complete lifestyle change. So, and I love everybody I've met through it. I love the people I work with, my clients. I love the people that I work for. So I think that would be like almost a cathartic thing to do one day in northern New Jersey. It's so funny too, because I think about it all the time and like where I would open it, and I know exactly where I would. So I guess if you live in northern New Jersey in Bergen County and you know anybody that would want to do that with me one day, you let me know. So other than that, I'm going to drop this video now. You can always comment on this video if you've got questions that you want me to answer in a future video, or any topics that you want me to talk about. I promise that every video from this point forward is going to be a little bit more exciting. I just figured I really appreciated that you guys chose that you wanted an about me video a little bit more than anything else. I thought that was awesome and kind of selfless of people, because I think people look on the internet only to find answers for themselves, and sometimes they don't care about who's giving those answers or advice. So this is me. I have so much more that I'd want to say about myself, but I don't want to bore you. So welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm going to be doing this often. I may not have like a video posting schedule, but Sundays are my me day, and I think that I would love to be able to film mostly on Sundays, maybe once or twice a month. I can like shoot an awesome video out for you guys. So, oh, and someone's calling me. So I guess that's my cue. Have an awesome rest of your Sunday fun day, and then I will be posting this up and talking to you soon.